The One Piece anime just confirmed something the manga left open for years, for over 20 years. Fans had a phrase repeated 3 times in the heart of text, "They will never meet again," and the anime chose, deliberately, the exact right moment to put something on screen that completely changes what that phrase means, because the third time that prophecy shows up, it doesn't say never anymore. It says the opposite. If that's true, the way you read the ending of One Piece changes forever. Okay, stay with me. Let me back up for a second, because this matters for understanding just how big this is. Back in chapter 1138, we got, for the first time, a text narrating the history of the One Piece world across 3 eras. Alongside it, a giant mural supposedly drawn by giant children during the Void Century. In the manga, that mural stayed static. The heart of book cover was only partially shown, and the connection between each line of the text and each part of the drawing was left completely open to interpretation. That alone spawned theory after theory. Some fans tied the mural to the final war. Others tied it to a Lunarian empire. But none of it was confirmed, because Oda never explicitly showed which line matched which image. Then episode 1168 happened, and here's the thing, when you animate a scene, you're forced to make choices. You have to decide exactly what's on screen the moment each line is narrated by Robin. You have to decide the timing, the cut, the framing. Oda oversees the anime, so none of those choices are random. But here's where it gets strange. Toei didn't just animate what we already knew. It connected line by line with a specific part of the mural, and whether intentional or not, that basically confirmed theories that had been floating around for years. Let's go straight to the most impactful confirmation, when the text of the first world says a serpent of hellfire wrapped the world in death and darkness. The anime cuts directly to a giant serpent fighting a black dragon on the mural. 1 second later, on the very next line, "They will never meet again," the camera cuts to the red line. Think about what that means. If the choice to show the red line lines up exactly with that phrase, that's not a random editing choice. That's Toei with Oda's approval telling us the serpent of hellfire and the red line are the same thing, and suddenly everything clicks. Back in Little Garden, in chapter 129, Dory and Brogy mention the one thing they've never been able to pierce, the blood-stained snake. Years later, in chapter 1153, we get confirmation that's exactly how the giants of Elbaf refer to the red line. Norse mythology backs this up almost too perfectly to be a coincidence. The serpent Jormungandr wraps around the entire world, biting its own tail. When it lets go of that tail, Ragnarok begins. If the red line is that serpent, its destruction could literally be One Piece's Ragnarok, but the anime didn't stop there. In the transition from the second world to the third, we see a poneglyph emerging from the water exactly when the text mentions the betrayal that scattered the poneglyphs across the world. It's the first time we actually see that happen, not just hear about it. And there's an even more hidden clue, one that only shows up if you compare the original Japanese, when the text mentions the half-moon people for the second time. In the third world, Oda swaps the word. In the second world, he uses Hangetsu, the standard term for a half-moon. But in the third world, he uses Kadourazuki, a poetic, ancient word that carries a much heavier meaning. Kadourazuki comes from a classic Japanese poem about someone hidden behind the clouds, someone you long to see but can't find. And that exact expression has already appeared in One Piece. It's the title of the chapter showing Noland and Kalgara, two friends separated forever when Jaya got launched into the sky by the knock-up stream. So this isn't just an astronomical description. It's longing. It's separation. It's someone waiting for a reunion that never comes, and that's exactly what the text is telling us about Clan D. Now let me connect the dots, because on their own these are interesting, but put together they tell a very specific story. If a full moon is a circle, and a half moon has the shape of the letter D, then the half-moon people could literally be the D people. And why would they be tied to the moon? Because maybe they're not purely from the blue planet. In the mural Zeno found on the moon during his cover story, we see a lunar people who descended to Earth. If that people mixed with humans, the result would be the D's literally half-moon, half-Earth carrying, generation after generation, the dream of a reunion that never happened. And it's no coincidence this lunar race lines up with every winged people we've already seen in One Piece: the Scipians, the Shandians, the Birkins, the Lunarians. Kalgara is a descendant of the moon. Noland is a descendant of Earth, and they never met again. the heart of text follows that exact pattern 3 times in a row. In the first world, they didn't meet. In the second world, they didn't meet. But in the third world, the text flips, they will certainly meet. And that's where the full Harda book cover comes in, the one the manga never fully showed. But the anime finally revealed. Flames. A tree at the center. The sun on one side. The moon on the other. If the text repeats 3 times that they will not meet, and then reverses it the third time to they will certainly meet, and the cover shows the sun and the moon separated only by the tree. That could be the exact visual representation of that prophecy. And what happens when the sun and the moon meet in the sky? An eclipse. That could be the visual and maybe literal trigger for the story's final climax. And if Blackbeard operates in darkness, a total eclipse would be the perfect setting for him to amplify his powers right at the final battle. But there's a detail in the mural almost nobody talks about. On the left side, we see Nika fighting alongside giants, samurai, lunarians, minks, a mermaid princess with sea creatures, a robot that looks a lot like Emeth, human ships, a whale, and even the Tontata. Basically, every race Luffy has united on his journey is right there. Decades before he was even born. On the right side, an advanced civilization with smokestacks and a huge moon in the sky. Below that moon, there's a flying ship with a shape strikingly similar to Enel's Arc Maxim, which raises a question nobody's answered yet. How did Enel get the blueprint to build Arc Maxim in the first place? Maybe it was based on the original design of Uranus, the ancient weapon that struck Lelouch from the sky. And on the other side of the mural, Nika faces off against a giant demon holding the sun in its hands. That demon is almost certainly Aimu's true form. And right above it, the exact same orbs of light appear that the advanced civilization is extracting on the other side of the mural, as if this demon controls all of those powers. The same way Aimu seems to control multiple devil fruits at once. That completely changes what you thought you knew about this mural. If all of this is real, what happens from here? The red line, the serpent of hellfire, split the seas and the peoples of the world apart at the end of the first world. The flood, caused by the sea goddess's fury after losing Joy Boy, split everything apart again at the end of the second world. The first 2 worlds both ended in separation. The third world, according to the Heart of Prophecy itself, is going to end in reunion. That means destroying the red line could literally unite the seas and the peoples for the first time since the world was split in half. And the mural already shows that outcome. Every race, every alliance Luffy has built, standing side by side against the demon representing the world government and Aimu. And the most curious part is where that mural might have actually come from. Robin has always said it was drawn by giant children during the Void Century. But Enel found murals on the moon that are almost identical in style. Maybe that mural wasn't made only by children from Elbaf. Maybe it was the dream of the lunar people themselves, recorded before they descended to the blue planet, a world where every race finally coexists in peace. Put it all together now. The red line is the serpent. The flood sank the second world. Clan D is the half-moon people, descendants of a people who came from the sky and never found the ones they loved again. And the Heart of Prophecy says, without mincing words, that in the third world, our world, Luffy's world, that reunion is finally going to happen. Honestly, I think Oda has been building this since long before the Void Century was even mentioned. Since Chapter 1, when he put emphasis on the D in Luffy's name. And if I'm right, the moment this gets confirmed is going to break the fandom. If this theory is right, it changes how you'll reread every single chapter that mentions Clan D. But I want to know what you think. Do you think Oda planned this from the start, or is this all one giant coincidence? Drop your theory in the comments. And if you want to understand why Luffy probably isn't a regular human, the next video is on screen right now.